What's up guys, Casey Ferris here. I make videos on post-production, video editing, color correction, mostly using a program called DaVinci Resolve. If you want to learn how to make videos, edit, color correct, and just generally be pro, make sure to subscribe to my channel for more tutorials like that. But today we are talking about streaming. A lot of people have asked me about this, and I feel like especially in recent times, there's going to be a lot of interest in working from home, doing things remotely. And so this is your basic guide on what live streaming is and how to set up your live stream for basically anything that you want to do. I'm going to go over a quick overview of the basics and how it works, and then we're going to get into a little bit more detail. So there's a couple different parts to live streaming. There's kind of capturing the video, and then it's putting it on a platform where somebody will see it. There are a ton of different apps to live stream from. In fact, you can do a simple stream just from your phone using Facebook or Instagram, but we're going to be looking at how to do, a slightly more involved stream from your computer. There are a ton of different apps that you can use to stream from your computer, but by far, in my opinion, the easiest and best one, which also happens to be free, is called Open Broadcaster Software, or OBS. Go to obsproject.com. It's for Windows, Mac, and Linux. I'll click Windows because that's where I'm at. And it'll ask where you want to put the download. I'll just put it on my desktop. Then it downloads pretty much instantly. Click on this and hit yes. It's going to ask me a bunch of questions. I'm just going to hit next, next, install. Nobody's got time for all those questions. When you're done, it'll say launch OBS Studio. I'll hit finish. Once you open up OBS, it should look something like this. And here's the basics of how this works. This part up here is your canvas. This is what anybody who watches your stream is going to actually see. Down here is your sources. This is where you add things in layers that are going to show up here on your screen. So under sources, if I click plus, I'll have a whole bunch of different options of things that I can add. If you want to stream what your computer is doing, you'll probably grab display capture. I'll just say create new, I'll call it display capture and hit OK. There we go. There's the infinite mouse thing. Ooh. But this is great if you are streaming a game or streaming something that's happening on your screen. Down here in the sources panel, if you hit add, you can add all kinds of different things. I'm going to just turn off this display capture right now so it's not distracting. I can load an image. All I have to do is just browse to it. I'll just grab this background texture and hit OK. And so now I have an image and I can layer things in this sources panel. If I want my image to be under my display capture, I just drag it down. I can turn on my display capture. I can turn layers off and on using this little eye. I can turn that on, and I can even grab things in the canvas here and move them around. So you can see, if you have a little bit of an idea of how, digital media works, then you can make some pretty complicated, really awesome looking things here. I'm going to grab my display capture and switch my display to my other monitor. You don't have to do that. It's just going to be a little bit easier for the video. Here I have my display, and I can layer it over things if I want. Now let's say we want a camera. This could be just a camera on your face when you're doing something digitally on the computer, or it could just be a full camera showing something that's happening in real life. You set it up pretty much the same way. You can use almost any camera that you have laying around. Of course, a better camera, probably a more expensive camera, is going to look better. This is a really standard webcam. You could probably get this at Best Buy for like 40 bucks. It's called a Logitech C920. It's what a lot of streamers use because it's cheap and it looks pretty good. Just plugs in with USB. And once I have that plugged in, I can set it up here on my monitor. And back in OBS, under sources, I'll add video capture device. It's going to ask me what to call it. I can call it something. I'll call it camera or cam and hit OK. And it's probably going to pick whatever webcam it can find. So here we have the Logitech HD webcam C920. And you can set your settings from there, which we'll get into in a second. But we have the different layers here, and we can move them around and adjust them however we like. Now, again, all of this lives inside of a scene, which is like a group of things that hang out here on this screen. So let's say I want to make a different group of things. I can go down to my panels here under my scenes and hit plus to add a new scene. It's going to ask me what to call it. I'll just call it scene 2 for now. And now we have another blank canvas. We can add things here by hitting the add button, but this time, if I were to say, go add a video capture device, now I have a little option to add an existing device. So I'll click add existing cam. And that's just going to add the exact same camera that I had in my other scene. And so you can reuse things in between scenes. So why would you have different scenes? That's if you have a different setup, if you want to do something different for your audience. Often what I like to do is have a scene for standby, which means that like you're letting the stream run and you're getting it ready. Maybe there's a countdown timer It's basically like a waiting screen so that you don't have to be on camera just acting really awkward before you're actually ready to start. That can really be anything you want. I'm just going to delete my camera here. I'm going to get rid of my camera source by selecting it and hitting the minus button in the sources. It's going to ask me if I'm sure I am. And now let's just add that same background, add image, and I'll say add existing image. Great. Maybe I want to add some text. Again, go down to the plus icon. I'm going to select text GDI plus. And I'll just say, okay. I'll say starting soon. Pick your font. And again, you can move that around and adjust that on your screen. You can even go over to your scenes, right click and say rename. I'll call this standby. The other scene will be main layout. And now when I start stream, I can start on standby. And then when I'm actually ready to start doing things, I can just switch over to main layout. So that's how a lot of the visual stuff works. Let's talk about audio. If you have one, it's really good to use like the highest quality microphone you can. This microphone, I'm actually recording all of this through OBS. This microphone is attached to an interface. This is like a studio microphone. And so if you have an interface like this, if you happen to record music, you do some kind of audio recording, you probably have something like this laying around. This is a PreSonus Audio Box 96. You can actually use this as a audio source. Anything that you can record into your computer, basically, you can use as an audio source for OBS. Now, you could also use something like a gaming headset. If you plug it into the sound card of your computer, this works just fine. And the reason why is because it gets your microphone closer to your mouth. As a general rule, the farther away the microphone is from you, the more echoey it's going to sound, the worse it's going to sound, the harder it'll be to hear you, to understand you. And audio is really, really, really important, okay? So if you're gearing up to do live streaming, make sure that you figure out the audio. If you're doing some kind of big event with a stage, make sure that whatever audio might be going through the speakers has a direct line that you can record through OBS. If it's just you in front of your computer, try and get a USB mic or even a fancy mic like this. Use a headset. If you're on a laptop, you might be able to use like iPhone headphones. Just ideally, your audio is not going to be like from your webcam because it's a little bit too far away. It's just not that great of a mic. So do the best you can with the audio. Once you have something to record audio with, let's just use the headset, for example. I can plug this into the back of my sound card. On my system, this little audio thing pops up and says, hey, what'd you just plug in? I plugged in a mic and I'll hit OK. And now the audio isn't going to work in OBS. That's because you need to add an audio source. You do that in the settings. Down here under the controls, click on settings. And here we have a whole bunch of different settings. We'll just click on audio. And here we have all of our devices. The one we're worried about is mic/auxiliary audio. Right here it says disabled. I'm going to click on that and go down to microphone, Realtek high definition audio. You don't want to pick the webcam one because that's going to be from the webcam. You want to pick the one from your sound card. Your sound card might say something different. It might say Sound Blaster, it might say Intel, whatever one says microphone, and hit apply and hit OK. If I put this on, under our audio mixer, we have a little green bar now. This is the level of your audio. Now, depending on your microphone, it might be too loud or too quiet. Generally, what you'll want when you're streaming is your audio to come up here about to the yellow. That's about right. So mine's coming in right about here, which is a little bit too quiet. You can also right click on this and say vertical layout if a vertical meter makes more sense to you. But this is just how loud that audio is, and it's not loud enough. We can fix that a couple different ways. The first thing I'll do is go to my audio settings on my PC. I'm gonna right click on this little speaker and go to open sound settings. Here under input, I'm gonna switch to microphone, Realtek high definition audio, and click on device properties. Right now, my volume happens to be about 46. So I'm gonna try and just boost this up until it's loud enough. I might just need to boost it all the way up to 100. There we go. That's getting a lot louder. That's nice. Now I'll close this. And that's going to be a lot more in the ballpark of what we want. So that's how you set up the video and the audio to actually make something for people to see. Now, how do we actually stream it? It really depends on where you want to stream this, because OBS can send this video to just about any service. We're going to start out by going to settings, and up here under stream, that's where we can choose our service. Now we have a bunch of different ones. We have Twitch, YouTube, Mixer, Facebook, Restream, Twitter. There's a lot. Most people are probably going to want either YouTube, Twitch, Mixer, or Facebook Live, I would assume. For Twitch, you can select the service to Twitch, and you can click Connect Account, and it'll ask you to log into Twitch. So you can either log in or sign up to your Twitch account. YouTube, very similar. Click on YouTube. But this time, there isn't a login. it's asking for a stream key. If you click on Get Stream Key, that'll open up YouTube in your browser and it'll log you into your YouTube account. What you're gonna wanna do is go down to the bottom of the page and here where it says stream name / key, click Reveal, select that and hit Control C for copy, and then paste that right there where the stream key is and hit Apply. What that does is connect OBS to your actual streaming service so that it can actually talk and upload video to it. Same thing for Facebook Live. I'll say Get Stream Key. It'll bring you to a page kind of like this, create live stream. And again, down here, you'll have your stream key, hit copy and paste it in there and hit apply. Once you have that set, you're pretty much ready to go live. To do that, all you have to do is go down here and click Start Streaming. Now, before you start your stream, you're probably gonna want to make a title that makes sense. That happens on whatever streaming platform you're doing, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Mixer. So I'm gonna show you how I do it through YouTube and we'll do a little test stream and make everyone very confused while we're recording this tutorial, okay? I've connected OBS to my YouTube. On a lot of services, it's good to set a title and a category, and you'll have some kind of dashboard. It'll look something like this. It'll have your preview of your stream as well as chat. Chat is pretty much how you interact with people when you're on live stream. They will be able to type, you can read things out live, and they can kind of ask questions and you can kind of talk back to them. So it's really important that you read chat while you're live if you want to interact with your audience at all. So go to whatever platform you're streaming to and find the chat box. This could also be something like comments on Facebook. So my chat is right here. I could even click on these little ellipses and say pop out chat. That's going to make this a separate window, and I can just minimize that and kind of put this to the side in OBS. So I can have my chat and it's a little bit easier to read it. So now that I'm ready to go live, I'm going to mute my mic, have my standby screen, and I'll hit start streaming. It might pop up and ask if you're sure you want to start, then just hit yes. Now looking down in the lower right-hand corner, it's going to give you some information about your stream. If this number that's right by live isn't going up, you're not live. If this thing isn't green right here, things are going bad. If it's yellow or red, there's something wrong. Either it can't connect or your computer's having trouble, whatever's going on. And then kilobits per second should be at least a couple thousand. If it's not, then your internet isn't fast enough. So now that we're live, we can go to our dashboard here and we can see everything that's going on. This is our preview of our stream and you'll have your analytics. I would recommend not looking at these because they're usually wrong. For instance, it says 0 people are watching and yet people are commenting in the chat. So that's not true. There, it's starting to load up. But that's pretty much how it works. Then you're live, make sure that you can talk to people in chat, and let's get on and say hi. I'm just gonna unmute my mic by clicking this little icon right here. Hello, hello, can you hear me? We'll see if people can hear me, see if things are working. It's probably a little quiet, guys, but we'll see. Here we have people in chat saying hey, and I can switch over to my main layout if I want to. And when I switch to main layout, they'll be able to see everything that I'm doing here. All right, so I'm just gonna click on main layout and shabam. Hey everybody. Let's see here. Let's make things a little easier here. A little easier, a little better. To everybody who's here on the live stream, thank you so much for being here. So people are complaining that my my voice isn't loud enough, which is a pretty common thing. So what I'm gonna do is go down to my audio mixer, which is in the bottom, and right click on it and go down to filters. And I'm gonna put a filter on my voice that's gonna make things a little bit louder. I'm gonna click plus and go to compressor. What that's gonna do is make the quieter parts of my voice louder and the louder parts quieter. First thing I'm gonna do is just boost up this output gain, something like that. How's that sound, guys? Is it a little better, a little easier to hear me? Should be quite a bit better. Let's see what chat says. Look at that, better. Told ya. Then I'll just hit close. That's a really easy way to just make your voice a little bit louder on the live stream. And then one thing is my camera doesn't look so good. That's because I didn't set the properties for my camera yet. So what I'll do on cam, I'm gonna right click on cam and go to properties, and that'll bring up the details for my camera. Under resolution FPS type, under device default, I'm gonna hit custom, and under resolution, I'm just gonna pick, let's do 1280 by 720, that's fine. And now things are already getting better. See, things look a little better. But one thing is that it still looks kind of blue. If I click on configure video, it'll bring up my properties for this webcam. And so one thing under advanced settings, the white balance is usually off. So if it says auto here, see, there we go. It made it auto, but always click that off or else it'll kind of be moving around a lot. So I don't know, something like that, somewhere in there. And then you can adjust your exposure and everything as much as you want. Make it look a little better, something like that. Then just hit save and hit OK. Now things are a lot better, right? Things are a lot better. And if we just want to see, if we want to say, hey, I can hit Control F and that's full screen. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much. So glad you guys are here. That's pretty much how you go live. That's how you do a live stream. And if you have any questions or comments, make sure to hit me up in the comments there below.